Head coaches from a different place, 2 offensive coordinators on the hot seat, and special teams in full. It's going to be a good one here. Locked On Huskers.
You are Locked On Huskers, your daily podcast on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey gang, DP here, Locked On Huskers, 937 The Ticket, Lincoln, America. Thank you for making Locked On Huskers first watch and listen each and every single day. Greatly appreciated your Huskers every day. We thank you everydayers for coming and hang out with us. If you haven't subscribed to get the content, you're missing out. Go get that content, man. Greatly appreciate it. Before we get into this show, and it's a good one, offense versus defense, we're going to talk about it, special teams, we're going to talk about it, all those things. Rico, if you would, please let them know about eBay Motors.
Thanks, DP. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Back to you, DP.
It's a big one. It's a big one. Listen, this is for Friday morning in Lincoln, Nebraska. Frisky weather, meaningful games, rivalries, neighboring states, border battle, playing for reputation and bragging rights, playing for your ability to make statements in the offseason. Listen, for all the other success that Iowa fans had last season, they get real quiet when they were talking about Nebraska fans because Nebraska went into their building and took a win and took a trophy out of there. And that trophy is back up for grabs. And that trophy, while not everything, it's important because if you're Nebraska, you need something to sink your teeth into, to hold up to your chest, the thing that can enhance your smile. And it gives folks a chance. Listen, when neighboring states battle, it matters. It matters. And all of that, you can put all of that to the side. Put all of that to the side for the fact that Nebraska is sitting at 5-6. And today's a playoff game. This is win or go home. This is an elimination game. You don't want to rely on the kindness and convenience of the NCAA and bowl committees and say, you know what, quite frankly, we don't have enough winning teams. Everybody else lost, so you get a chance to be in because you travel better than everybody else, even to support a team that doesn't have 6 wins. You don't want that. That's not how you want to go. And you want to moonwalk your way into a bowl game. Not that Nebraska fans would care because, listen, a bowl game's a bowl game. But the reality is for this thing to feel right, to taste like Thanksgiving dinner, for this one to feel like the dessert of your choice after Thanksgiving, this has to have a cherry on top sort of vibe. This has to be that extra serving of Thanksgiving turkey. It has to be the extra serving of dessert. It has to be. This is your ability to travel in the area and have your chin up and your chest out and to wear your colors and to not feel like you have to put your eyes to the ground when you see somebody from Iowa. They got a 9-2 season. The success of their season is set in place. But Nebraska has to look them in the eye. You cannot have it. Your neighbor has the award-winning yard and the really cool dog and the hot wife, and you haven't stepped across and shown off your own. You need to win the head-to-head, and the head-to-head matters. The head-to-head matchup matters. And it'll come down to a bunch of things. Over the course of the week, we were talking about the different numbers that are in play. But the real thing that's in play here is pride. Your ability to do what you do on call, on demand, on time, on purpose, against your rival. And this is the game that both of these programs circled and said, we can't, this game matters. This game has to stay on the schedule. Doesn't matter who else you have, but listen, we need to play each other because, quite frankly, we look at each other all year. And I would say this fairly, that this is the game that will set the standard for how both teams, programs, states look at each other and themselves. Nebraska changes a lot with a win over Iowa. Iowa, listen, getting your 10th win is a big deal, especially when your program was under duress. A 10th win means, okay, we get to go face a big boy with the opportunity. And much as anybody else says, nobody wants you there, nobody wants to see you in the Big Ten championship game. The reality is you want to see yourselves there because you work to put yourself there. And nothing would stick in the craw more of Nebraska fans to have to watch Iowa just float in unscathed at 10-2 into the Big Ten championship game. You don't want that. You could put a tag under it. Big Ten West champions compliments via win against Nebraska. Thanks, Nebraska. You don't want that. But none of that should matter because it should be about new coaching staff trying to set their off-season standard for how they're going to do business. A new coaching staff and a roster. The roster needs the additional work. They need additional reps. They need additional work. They need for the season to be extended. You don't want the season to end tomorrow. You want to go home. You don't want to stop working out. You don't want to stop looking at film. You don't want to stop being on schedule. You don't want to stop any of that. You want your football season to be extended. This is win and advance. This is an elimination game. Handle your business. Beat one team so you get to play another game. Listen, I will fight you for the opportunity to play another football game. I will fight you. And you do not want regret. Regret is that thing. It shouldn't move you, but it has to be present. All that's being asked of Nebraska is for them to be the version of themselves that they had committed and said that they are. Now is the time to show off the work that you've done. Now is the time to show the improved body, the different level of experience. You don't have any first-year players anymore. If they played 6 games, they are now officially a veteran of this thing. No excuses from the receiver group, no matter who's playing quarterback, no excuses at quarterback, no matter who's playing receiver, no matter who's blocking for you. Offensive line, there's no excuse. Doesn't matter who's running behind you. You have a job to do, and the task, the rules still remain. Your footprints have to be set. Your body balance has to be the same. Your eyes have to be good. They have to be smart eyes. Get to the right place. You have to get your hands in the right place. Hand placement matters. And it doesn't matter who's running behind you if you do your job. Coordinators, listen, it's a battle for this thing and give your players the best opportunity to have the greatest level of success. And it's just one game. You don't have to focus on anything else. Iowa cannot look over the fence past Nebraska to Indianapolis. They can't do it. Why? Because bad things happen when you do. Nebraska would like that. But Nebraska also wants that they do not need for Iowa to look past them. They want to look Iowa dead in the eye, look them square in the face, hand to hand, in the turf, get your work done, and beat them. And then you send them to whatever's coming next for them with full understanding and knowledge that on this day, Nebraska was better than Iowa. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Iowa's offense versus Nebraska's D, Nebraska's offense versus Iowa. We'll talk about all that. Where the point's going to come from, we don't know, but we'll talk about it here on Locked On Huskers. Welcome back to Locked On Huskers. I'm DP, and if you have not subscribed, don't let football season pass you by. We're going into basketball season. We're going into volleyball season. We're going into wrestling season. Going into baseball. We're going into softball season. We're going to track season. We're going to cover this thing all the way through. That's your Huskers every day. That's what it's for. That's the deal. Before we get into this matchup of units, Rico, would you please let them know about Gametime?
Thanks, DP. When looking for tickets to an event in your area, you shouldn't have to jump through so many hoops. With Gametime, those hoops are a walk in the park. With last-minute tickets, flash deals, and zone deals, on Gametime, it's easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Gametime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show your total up front so you know you're getting a great deal without hidden fees. Buy your tickets in seconds with 2 taps. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Back to you, DP.
Well done, sir. Greatly appreciated. And again, the hype machine isn't required, but you're going to get it anyway. Close your eyes, Husker fans, and imagine with me. Imagine Memorial Stadium packed. There's speckles of black and gold, but it is a sea of red. And it is the final time this season that we get together at Memorial Stadium in full for football. Sea of red. Just a sea of red. Fever pitch. Top volume. Maximum volume. Maximum presence. Imagine that in this particular case, it's Iowa's offense versus the black shirts. And the black shirts need to hear you. They need to feel you. Listen, this is a new quarterback, and that's not an excuse because Nebraska's got a new quarterback too. But the black shirts need you, and they have you at their back to create noise and to create distraction and create energy levels and pitch. You are the juice. You are the juice at Memorial Stadium. Listen, the matchups are in play. What Iowa does offensively, and they're not very exceptional in what they do. They're not. They're just not. But that can be said. This is why we're going to talk about it. Nebraska understands that Iowa doesn't want to have to throw the ball around. They want to be able to run the ball, move the clock, move the chains. And then on 2 occasions, they need to get the ball in the end zone. Sometimes that's play call. Sometimes that's just muscle. Iowa muscle is what they believe. And then sometimes they'll need a field goal or two. I would think that their target is 20 points, but that's okay. They will do the thing that Nebraska has talked about doing but hadn't done in full. They will bring an extra tight end into the formation. They will move the tight end around. They will bring a fullback into the game. Sometimes it's 2 tight ends. They will dot the I, and they'll have a runner back there behind 2 sledgehammers. And the object for them is to just simply put more people at the point of attack than you have. Then they will ball fake and ask you not to get lazy, right? They'll pull it. Like they'll run 6 plays and expect the linebacker to cheat or a rover to get his eyes in the wrong place. But they won't be able to communicate that because this fan base will be too loud. The stadium will be too noisy. They want to make quick throws into space. They want to make short throws, low throws in between the hash marks to tight ends. They want their playmakers to get the ball in their hands and do something with it. But listen, here's some of the numbers for Iowa offensively. Now, again, Deacon Hill is not Cade McNamara. He is not Cade McNamara. Deacon Hill has a throwing percentage, completion percentage of below 50%. And you can say whatever you want to say about Nebraska's offense, but guess what? They complete more than half their passes. 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Deacon Hill, he throws a short pass. He's only averaging 88 yards a game. Hoo-wee. Guess what? I'm going to load up the defense against the run, and I'm going to make sure that Deacon Hill has to beat us. And I need him on a long field. I need no turnovers. Don't give him the ball in your own side of the field. Don't let special teams make plays. Running the ball, listen, they lean on folks. They're getting more from Caleb Johnson. That's a big run that he had last week. Listen, it's all in play. He's great in the kick return game. It's a thing. You're missing Cooper DeJean. That's a thing. It'll show up, especially in special teams punt return, he's a playmaker. Not out there. They've got 2 receivers with 20 catches. Normally, we would make fun of that except for what Nebraska's numbers are. This is not, I mean, they're not exceptional. They're just not. Leading receivers with 24 yards and then with 24 catches for the season. Just under 9 yards a reception. Listen, even the tight ends have had a down year. Right? They've had a down year. The black shirt defense's ability to defend the run and make that difficult, to keep Iowa behind the chains, maybe get them in 3rd and long, maybe force him to throw through a closed window, maybe get a batted ball, tip ball, maybe they can make plays. Long field, big opportunity. When Nebraska's on offense, look, the numbers say everything we need for them to say. Everything is in play for Nebraska. Chuba Purdy, all hands on deck, I would imagine, depending on how Harburg's feeling. But Jeff Sims is in play. Purdy's in play, and we saw what he could do with the football. He will rely heavily on Marcus Satterfield and the play calls in place to keep them ahead of the chains, keep them ahead of the chains. Their ability to run the ball, Chuba's ability to get plus yardage, even in what appear to be passing situations. Iowa's defense is legit. They're top 5 in everything in the Big Ten Conference. They're top 20 in the country in everything defensively. But they have difficulty with quarterbacks who can make plays in space. That is the thing that can happen. This is a Fedoni game. This is a use the tight end game. And yeah, you're going to take a big shot. I fully expect that Nebraska will have a plus 40-yard touchdown pass to one of these burners at receiver. It is my hope that they get a touchdown in the running game as well. As a matter of fact, I'd like to. I know that's asking for a lot. But listen, if you're trying to, this is your elimination game. This is your opportunity. And Satterfield's ability to call plays and get them above the chains. Listen, copy success. I'm going to say this. Copy success. Copy success. Copy success. If you're watching this game, identify the plays that Nebraska has success with and then use it at the highest volume. If you are a fan watching the game and you see them run behind Teddy Prohaska and get positive yardage, count the number of times that they run behind Teddy Prohaska. If they're having success behind Ben Scott, or if you're getting beat up the middle, got to put that away. Put it away. Don't ask Purdy to make throws that he isn't comfortable and hasn't made. There are opportunities for Nebraska offensively against this defense. It's a stout defense. But I like the idea of moving chains and moving the clock. And then in the red zone, being productive in the red zone is vital for Nebraska's success. We'll throw it to break. We'll talk about some of these coaches because these coaches have a little added pressure. There's a little added heat on the tush. We'll talk about that when we come back to Lockdown Huskers. Are you ready? Are you ready? Big, huge, honking football game, Memorial Stadium. A chance for the entire season. There are some legacies that are going to happen. There are some stories that are going to be told from this day. 2 offensive coordinators. I can easily say that as much as anything else, that the offensive coordinator that has the best day and the special teams coach that has the best day allows for their team, their school, their program to win at Memorial Stadium. That's to not take pressure off the 2 defensive coordinators. But listen, both of these offensive coordinators need to look over their shoulder. They need to go into their bag. And listen, I'm not saying be different. I'm not saying being special. I'm saying be good. Be better than you have been. 2 offenses that struggle to put points on the board. Iowa has been better about putting touchdowns in the end zone. That could be a difference maker. But these offensive coordinators made commitments. They all had to make commitments at the beginning of the season of who they thought this team was going to be and what the identities of these offenses were going to be. What was the branding behind special team play in Nebraska? We're not going to catch fair catches. We're going to return kicks. We're going to be elite in the punt game. Points on the board. Listen, I know we say, well, the key to the game is being Nebraska putting more points on the board. I'm going to say the key to the game is Nebraska scoring more touchdowns. Specifically, scoring more touchdowns, and I don't care how you get them. I don't care. I need for strip, sack, fumble. They scoop it up and run it in. We'll take that as a touchdown. Fumble on a punt. Nebraska scoops it and scores. Need that. I'm good with that. I don't care if it's Emmett Johnson or Anthony Grant running for a touchdown. I don't care if Trevor Purdy has to run it in twice himself. I don't care if he has to throw target Thomas Vanoni 7 times to get him 5 catches, 4 of them in the red zone and for first downs. I don't care which of the young receivers have their best day ever. I'm not looking for one play. I'm looking for the play. Which of the young receivers will step up and make a play for Nebraska to get a touchdown and get a win against Iowa? Which coach at the end of this thing could be honest about the work that's been put in, the growth that's been put in, and then the end result? I have zero desire to come to you after this game with an explanation that there were more missed opportunities. We know that this game, the result of this game, is about opportunities taken advantage of rather than opportunities missed. Open field tackling, opportunities. Plus yardage in the return game, opportunity. Advantage on special teams, and then having a full and complete running game. Which receivers have a day? And ultimately, which of these two brand new quarterbacks can get out of this game unscathed, without error, and without giving the ball to their opponent's defense? Which of those quarterbacks has a better day? Listen, it's a big day. 6 wins changes the conversation, changes the program, changes the location and elevation of Nebraska football. Big, huge opportunity for the Huskers. Matt Rule, Mark Satterfield, Tony White, his coaching staff, and then this roster. Importantly, the fans as well. I'm DP, Locked On Huskers. Thank you for making Locked On Huskers your first watch and listen each and every single day. Make your second watch Locked On Sports Today. Go check it out. It's right there in the corner. Just click the button and roll through it. Greatly appreciate it. We'll close with the 3 words we love so much. Go Big Red.